I got COVID symptoms one time. I'd suddenly developed a cough that lasted about a week and then went away. I had no other symptoms. I think COVID's something we're just gonna have forever. I'm gonna get my yearly fucking flu shot, my yearly COVID shot. I already get a yearly flu shot, so it's not a big deal. But it's annoying. It'd be nice if we could just all work together to eliminate COVID.
Are you ready? Go.
Meaty stands strong versus meaty left forward is an extremely obnoxious mix-up. You get a ton of damage off of that palm. Chun-Li just blocked it. There's no mix-up really. But if that palm ever hits, it's fucked. Especially for Chun-Li where the juggle is extra strong. You can do palm into heavy chop, light chop, heavy chop, light chop, heavy chop, light chop. You might be able to do a heavy chop for the final one, I don't actually remember. I think you have to hit it pretty fast because the juggle potential's used up. I wash my hands. I got the vaccine. I wear my mask. I also avoid the public. I just don't want to kill someone. I work with the general public. It's very easy for me to get it and then just like not know for the first like couple days and potentially give it to someone else and they die, or they give it to someone who dies. I don't want to spread this fucking disease. I don't like that we've suddenly just... Aww. You hate to see it. Most buttons are not fast enough to hit Chun-Li out of that. She has no invincibility, it's just a fast super, it's a 3-frame super. It's probably the most boring matchup in the whole game besides two Chun-Lis. Still not too bad. Yang has some cool tech for Chun-Li, which makes it kind of more interesting than most Yang matchups. But fuck nowhere is, yeah. It's kind of good for a pandemic. There, that's some of the tech. The palm, I mean the flip into medium kick into mix-up is very strong versus Chun-Li. I don't like that the world has just developed into a way, like an environment that I could kill someone, you know what I mean? Ooh. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I don't like the way the world has developed into a way I could potentially kill someone. Like, right? And previously, the only way I could really kill someone is if I just, like, fell asleep at the wheel or fucking something like that, you know? Like, there was no real way I could, like, seriously negatively impact someone's life, for the most part. Unless I just had a seizure while driving. There we go. He did the 3-Rekka ender. Stand Fierce is the optimal Dizzy, so I'm really surprised he didn't do that, because I wasn't really sure if the final Rekka would Dizzy. But he was sure. The Yang player knew well. The final Rekka does more damage than the Stand Fierce. You can also end in a double Rekka, which I think does... I think it does less than the final heavy Rekka, but I don't actually remember. You can do 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and you can also do 1-2, 1-2, 3. And I think 1-2, 1-2, 3 is stronger. I did a report on measles pretty recently. The thing about measles is that it has no animal vector, and it has a good vaccine that also just prevents you from getting it. Which means that it's absolutely feasible to eliminate measles. And we almost did it. We came really close. Measles was extinct in most of the world for a very long time. And now it's kind of slowly making a comeback. I'm not really afraid of killing someone with my car. But I would like to take measures to avoid killing people, if possible. That's really hard on Twins. It looked like he got the car. I think he just missed the window. The DP looked good, I think. You need the Kara even in the corner on Twins, but he was in the... He got the perfect starter. He got close strong into... Ooh, nice. Into light DP on a corner Twin. Oh my Jesus, that whiff punish. This Ken player... The gold Ken in these fucking replays is good as shit. Lose to this guy 100 times out of 100, I can tell. Oh, okay. Yang has that. Yang does have an invincible wake up. People forget. Ah, so much for that. Low forward to wake up to catch a shimmy, which Yang went for. That's aggressive. That's an aggressive read.
Prepare to strike. Now.
Ooh. Ooh. Yang had no meter, so that crush jab couldn't lead to anything. The big difference between Yang and Yun... Oh, he got it! That's hard to do. The big difference between Yang and Yun is Yun has good conversions off of fucking lights. Well, Yang does too. Yang just has to spend a bar. Yun has Mito's conversions off of lights. And that's a bigger deal than you would think. It's not actually the main difference between them. The main difference is their supers, obviously, and the presence of Rekka. But that is a kind of big deal.
Prepare to strike.
Is Yang needing EX Rekkas to convert from lights and Yun just being able to dash punch. Okay, decent damage. A lot of dizzy. Yang's a dizzy machine between his palm stuff and his EX Rekka. EX Rekka doesn't even do enormously more damage than regular Rekka, but it's a lot safer and the dizzy's a lot higher. You can use it to confirm a lot more easily because you've got, like, you know, 2 EX Rekkas. It's also safer against parries.
Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
Yeah, the ideal would be a bunch of viable supers. Did he have, no, I like what he did. I was thinking if he had close fierce into DP, but I think that's less reliable than close strong. The damage difference between them is not significant anyway. Getting the combo is the more important thing. Nice! When I play Ken, that shit's impossible, and that's like the mark of a great Ken, I think, is the way they use low strong. Or maybe not the mark of a great Ken, because like most good Kens can kind of abuse that normal. It's more like, I don't know. Being able to reliably do stuff with low strong confirm is like... It takes Ken from like a 6 to a 10, you know what I mean? Maybe like a 7 to a 10. It's huge. The more I play Third Strike, the more I feel like low strong is Ken's best feature. The double ADP combos are insane too. But even if a Ken never does them, he's still a pretty strong character.
Prepare to strike. Now.
Nice whip punish. This game has whip punishing, and it's like as hard as it should be. You know what I mean? It's feasible. But you need the right normal and the right normal. You need both of them to be right for whiff punishing. It's not like a character just has a whiff punish normal. Whenever they see something unsafe, they whiff punish with that normal. Some characters have something kind of like that, but not enormously. It's more like with every individual normal, there's like, can be whiff punished by another individual normal. Fucking wake up parry into jump was Galaxy Brain as hell. Jesus. He had the exact read of button into EX Fireball for a chip out.
Are you ready?
Holy shit. That was smart. EX Fireball safe when parried. 0. Nice. Really good punish. Say medium punch, medium DP super. He did it and it worked and it still fell out. The fact that that fell out in an ideal scenario makes me wonder. That stand hard kick was probably a Kara throw or a fucking command grab. Probably a command grab. Maybe a Kara command grab. I don't know. I wanted to immediately say it was command grab, but then I thought it might be a Kara button.
Go for it.
We were talking about that earlier. I like close normals. No, I don't like close normals. I like it when you can get your normal no matter what. But I don't like that they removed a bunch of normals to get to that point, basically. In order to actualize that dream of no proximity normals, they killed, they killed most normals. I shouldn't say most, but they killed like a third of all normals on each character. Proximity normals are fundamentally built towards option selects. Like, I have some option selects out of Aura's fucking strong. Some of them are insanely simple. I do far strong as a poke, and if they dash in, I get close strong, and then I juggle out of it. Very simple, very straightforward. Fighting games have generally... Wow, very nice. Low block and then low parry. It was a very aggressive read, and it was exactly what Ken did. Like, Yang literally read, like, low forward into low brown house, or low forward into low forward. And Ken did it. And that's not a very common sequence from Ken, but it's not bad. It's not a bad sequence. You can kind of do that with the aggressive parries. It's like, what's the worst thing Ken gonna do to you? Low 40x fireball, realistically. He can't low strong you because regardless of which parry direction you pick, you'll fucking parry the low strong because it can be parried either way. That didn't look right, but he got it. He did a 2-hit confirm instead of a 3-hit confirm, and the confirm seemed kind of, the cancel seemed kind of late. It's possible that Ken can just link the super there, which might be what we saw. Ken's super is really fast. I doubt it though. Probably he just got like a slightly late cancel, like not first frame. Or maybe I'm just not used to seeing short crouch jab super. Oh, this is almost dizzy. That doesn't really matter. Yeah, tricky. I have no idea which side they hit on. He ended up on the back. Nice. Usually jump fierce, optimal damage from that. People usually do super jump forward into roundhouse though. Usually jump fierce is probably safer if Ken parries, and Yang didn't know if Ken was going to parry. Forward jump roundhouse gives you a better follow-up mix-up scenario. Nice. Ken's low short confirm very strong. All the shotos have that confirm. It's really good on all of them. All of them too. Even Sean. Sean has it on like all 3 of his supers. He used to do low short for super 2, but he's got low short, low jab, low short for super 1 and 3. Okay, EXDP. You don't see that very often. It's like the same. Low short, low short, low short is technically better because you can't OS red parry at high. The light normal damage difference is like insignificant. The thing is, triple low short doesn't work on a lot of characters. Low short, low jab, low short is much more consistent. It works on almost everyone. 2 low shorts works on literally everyone, so you can always use that. Low jab might do a little bit more damage than low short. It might be a little less, I have no idea. But the damage of light normals is tiny as shit in this game, so it like can't matter. A better parry, it really depends on what you mean by better. There's much more thought that goes into how to use a focus attack and a... that's not true. There's more design around a focus attack than a parry. A parry is obviously better in terms of like how strong it makes a character. Third strike parry is insane. It's such a fucking insanely useful thing. So high reward. Yeah, it does have more stuff bundled to it for sure. That's kind of that's one of the things I really like about V-Shift, is that it's not just a blank. Oh, that's hard to do. V-Shift has all these rules. He could have canceled that into super and it would have been guaranteed. He hit the recovery of the dive kick, I'm pretty sure. He tried to confirm it, but he was too far out. Nice. Be nice if Aura could do that. That step kick. I don't like it. Ooh, roll? Jab? Yeah, beautiful. Got the whole shebang. In the corner, that's easier. Focus is simply not as feasible in a lot of places. Sometimes focus is just not the answer no matter how you fucking use it. Whereas parry can usually be an answer of some variety. So it just requires increasingly elaborate specific reads in very specific scenarios. Like, even getting thrown, it could be like, you know, OS parry into throw is a way that parry can beat that. Or at least not be vulnerable to it. The problem is OS parry into throw is very mediocre if you actually get a parry. Because you have to commit to the throw early in order to actually be able to tech throws. Parry feels very high risk for most of the development of someone's third strike game. You know what I mean? You get good at using parries in the places where they're low risk, high reward. You get good at identifying those scenarios, but beginners aren't. It would be more accurate to say that parry can be used in low risk ways than to say parry is low risk. You can. It depends on who you play and it depends on who you're fighting. Certain characters are very much more reliant on parry than others. It's really hard to play Q or Hugo without parrying. Like, it's really hard to land like a fucking command grab with Q without doing it from a parry. Elena can play without parries, unless you mean fighting Elena. Fighting Elena, yeah, you probably should be parrying her. She's a character where parry helps a lot. Parry shuts down a couple of her special moves, and then it makes her mix-up a lot more manageable. The thing about Elena is that her mix-up is very solid and actually not very vulnerable to parries in the sense that she can attack you high or low from a lot of different ranges in a way that you can't parry on reaction. But parries are good because a lot of those things she can do to mix up the parry direction are just not strong. It just doesn't do very much damage at all to do towards forward as Selena, the overhead. It doesn't do very much damage at all to land a fucking slide, or a low forward especially. Everything that's tied to a mix-up just does no damage for her. But if you parry, that's a confirm. So if Elena does low forward, and you eat it, you take the damage of a low forward. But if you low parry guess on the fucking low forward, you get Ken low forward Chippu, or something like that. And there's nothing Elena can do to prevent that. So Elena, 12 has that problem too. Because those characters can't put a lot of damage behind their buttons, parry is unusually powerful against them. Even though their mix-ups are actually pretty good. That being said, Elena is a better character than 12. Love that combo. Is that a car throw? He went like extra far, I think. It's max meter build. Is that it? We'll never know. Urian's Crouch Fierce is a bit hard to use without landing a parry first. Because it's unsafe. And there's no mix-up to it. A purple parry you can use if the opponent parries your attack. I'm intrigued. So, like, if you get parried, the only thing you can commit to is either a cancel, maybe, or a purple parry. To purple parry the thing that they do. That's funny. People really like the air-to-air sequences where one person air parries and then attacks and then the other person air parries. People are like, oh, that's so cool. Every time it happens. It is cool. They're right. Alpha 3 had damage mitigation. It was one frame. If you hit a button on the frame you took damage, you turned red and it did like half damage. And you could do that for like every attack in the game. It might have had to be attacks and combos, I don't remember. That was a wake-up parry by Yang. Very obvious one. The crouch jab worked. He was just trying to use it as an interrupt, but he could have done a couple and then EX Rek'd. It was a bit scary to commit that meter, but if he got like 2 mix-ups, he could still win. Wait, I don't know what we're talking about. Ooh. How did he do it? How does he confirm it? How does he confirm it? Is it just a guess? I don't understand. Is he actually confirming left forward? Those looked unconfirmed. But maybe he's just a god. Ah, that's really YOLO from Ken. It is high level analysis, I promise. I just have no idea how this Ken's doing what he does. This Ken's higher level than me. My best guess is that he's actually confirming left forward, but that move is really hard to confirm.
Are you ready? Go.
Oh, okay. Well, it still applied to me. Because, man, that was some low-level analysis. My analysis, I have no idea how this guy's doing what he's doing. What is that? Those strong low fears? That was like a fucking SF3 sequence. It's funny looking. I think that was intended to get a counter poke. I don't know, because he like micro walked before it too. Anti-air parry by Yang. Yang doesn't really have a great thing to do after an anti-air parry. He can make them land into a low forward. Nice punish. And he can go for anti-air close forward. But both of those have a little bit of drawbacks.
You win. Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
Nice. The RTC. Jump medium kick, down medium kick. Or down towards medium kick. Yan and Yang, he wanted to jump around us close strong, but he attacked early and jumped early because he didn't want Ken to shake out. And because of that, he got far strong, which is slower and also doesn't cancel. Only goes to his TC. This Ken's playing mad nice, but these characters are hella boring. Yang's playing pretty good too. Both extremely high level players. Ow! I called him extremely high level. And then that happened. That was a free parry. Having the read was the hard part. On the first two parries, there was no difficulty on the third one. There's no way he couldn't react in the first two hits, so that was the heavy one. Yang is a popular character. If you main Yang, or if you just don't see him that much, I'm sure you'd love watching him. I don't dislike it. He's really basic. He's not easy. It's not super hard. There's a little bit of technique to him. But his game plan is very straightforward. You got everything you need. You got a fucking safe on block first Rekka. You got a command grab. You got a dive kick. Everything stems from those three. Nice.
Prepare to strike. Now.
Easiest character? I used to say that, and I'm not really sure if it's true. There's no truly easy character in this game. Most characters have some nonsense that's kind of hard. Nice. Ryu is not very hard. He has a couple technical things. But especially Denjin Ryu. It's pretty not very executionally demanding anywhere.
You win. Now. Battle.
You have to be a bit aggressive. Parrying benefits Ryu a lot because of Donkey Kick. There's obviously EX Donkey Kick, but even regular Donkey Kick if you're playing Denjin Ryu is a very ideal knockdown state. But it's really hard to use Donkey Kick at all without a parry. It's either for punishes or after parries. Does nothing else. Doesn't help his neutral at all.
Are you ready? Go.
It's hard for me to say that Yang is more or less executionally demanding than Ryu. Denjin Ryu. Ryu's other supers are not very executionally demanding either. There's a little bit of nonsense with SA2. That's pretty hard. Like if you reset someone with a jump with a stand jab after as an air reset, that's like an ATR. Like parry into stand jab, you can do dash into SA2, and that is fucking demanding. But you can just go for anti-air parry into SA2 anyway. Most executionally demanding is either Urian or Yun. Probably Yun. Could be either one. Could be Urian. And it's all because of their supers.
You win. Now. Battle.
Urian's difficult, but he's difficult in a very consistent way. There's like setups for everything. Because everything kind of branches off of like specific starters, like anti-air fireball or crutch fierce. That once you get those specific starters, the rest of the combo is consistent. Ah, one parry into button. That means it was a guess parry. You can react to that overhead, but he didn't. Because he wasn't waiting for the overhead, he was just tapping forward. Ken has a lot of difficult stuff. The low strong confirms are a pain to learn for a beginner. Bar strong confirms are a pain to learn. Even the TC is hard for a lot of people as a beginner. Double DP combos are some of the hardest BNBs in the game. Ken has quite a lot of executionally demanding things. EX Tatsu dash DP. That shit's really hard. I can't do that. EXO Tatsu, that is. Dash DP. Ken is often touted as a beginner character, but he's kind of not. There's no way for a beginner to use Shippu well, if that makes sense. The closest is like being able to just do target combo Shippu or low short, low jab, low short Shippu. Those are both learnable for a beginner. And by a beginner, I mean a beginner to third strike, not a beginner to fighting games. Is Yang EX related to Sans Undertale? That's not a strange idea. Chun-Li has a lot of extremely executionally demanding things, but you rarely see them. They're not very important to her winning, if that makes sense. Like, even if you do only Chun-Li's easy things, she's like a top tier. I really wanted to do a Peter voice there, but I just don't know how it would sound. I don't know if I could do Peter's voice, it's hard. Oh my god, it's Yang Street Fighter, etc. Ew. Ken's light DP. Why the fuck did they give it that little recovery? I think people probably forgot about Street Fighter 4 is that during vanilla, Ken's light DP had like no recovery at all. They made it longer in Super. People often discuss the vanilla characters and how crazy they were. That looked Kara. That was huge. But I've never seen anyone discuss Vanilla Ken when discussing vanilla characters. And Vanilla Ken's light DP is absolutely bonkers. It's hilariously safe. They added like 3 recovery frames in Super, and it's still pretty hard to punish. The most ridiculous thing in vanilla was probably something people wouldn't even think about. Oh, in my opinion. It was Zangief's Lariat. Lariat was pants on head in vanilla. It had just a ridiculous amount of invincibility. And a crazy hitbox. But the thing about it that I really loved, that was just really hilarious, was against Abel specific. There was no flag for it being duckable. It's just that most characters happened to duck it. So Abel couldn't duck it, which meant that anytime Zangief was close to Abel, he could just do Lariat, and it was completely invincible, and plus on block, and did like 4 ticks of chip, and it does massive chip. It made the matchup a borderline unwinnable. Abel had to like zone out fucking Zangief. I think it was seen as like a 7.3 or like a 7.5 or like even an 8.2. It was insane. Just a really goofy scenario. In my bad balance vanilla Sagat, I'm gonna show off Vanilla Sagat punishing Blanca balls. That's gonna be funny. A lot of people are gonna laugh at that, I think. I'm gonna have a little section at the end that's talking about how poorly equipped most of the characters were to deal with Vanilla Sagat. Because a lot of the characters in Vanilla were like the worst versions of that character. For about half the cast in Vanilla, their like lowest tier version, or like their worst version in terms of kit, was the first one. Characters like Rose or Dan or Vega or Sakura just only got buffs. Kami's a weird one. Kami had like an absolute pants on head insane dive kick, but then was really mediocre in every other way. But man, that fucking dive kick was insane. They made her like an actual versatile character, but made it so only EX dive kick was that stupid in later versions, in AE and beyond. But like she had no links in vanilla. Like her only linking normal was like close strong into low forward, and that was one frame. Like nothing linked into anything, and that's so weird compared to like AE Kami. Bison wasn't so bad. He didn't change that much across all the versions, I don't think. He's definitely a bit silly. He's like the Yang of fucking SF4. Just does all his fucking damage through chip. And massive foot speed, good throw range. Yeah, SF4 Kami with no links and like the best dive kick ever. She could literally do like pure instant air dive kicks. So dive kick was just a mix up with throw at all times. And it was plus on block, I think. One frame eyeballing was never removed. Yeah, it was cool. Whenever you did like an ultra next to someone, their eyes would bug out. Deliberate thing. Because that's what we're talking about. There's some other one frame eye-boggling thing. Oh, I don't know what we're talking about at all. I remember Slim Ultra. That was removed in Super, I think. Me and some of my friends once did that on a console. Very easy to do with like tool assistance. Quite hard to do by hand. I remember vanilla unblockables. The ultra freeze, and then you can't start blocking during the ultra freeze. IG stood for I guess. I was gonna say something. I forget what. Some nonsense about how dumb vanilla was. Oh, Gen was arguably nerfed. Oh yeah, it was Blanca. I was gonna talk about Blanca. This was actually true for a very long time, which is the especially funny thing about Blanca Sagat. Blanca, if he got a punish combo on Sagat, he could do like a Blanca ball, something into Blanca ball or something into up ball, and then Sagat would just car DP and it would punish, even if the Blanca ball hit. It was just still a punish. And then Sagat could get like FADC Ultra. So Blanca had to end combos with electricity or couldn't end combos at all versus Sagat. Stuff like that. And Blanca's electricity is a really good move, but it has like no range. Blanca could have been a really interesting character, but they gave him like a couple tools early on where just because those tools were the way they were, he could never be a normal character. One of them was his 4-frame Ultra. Because they gave him a 4-frame Ultra, they were like really afraid to give him a normal that was +5 or more. So for a very long time, all of his normals were at most +4, which meant all of his links were like 2 frames at easiest, or like 1 frame. Which made Blanca weirdly executionally demanding. Yeah. His light electricity being plus on block gave him really good pressure. But I feel like a lot of stuff was bad to justify that being good. Blanco is mostly just like a walking fucking matchup check though. They like designed it like that on purpose. Yeah, they didn't like Ultra Links. They really wanted you to have to spend meter to land Ultras. There were only a few links into Ultra in the game, even in the final version. And most of them were one frame, and off of things like Far Stand Jab. And then they made Yang with a 4 frame Ultra. That one's a counter hit one, I think, or meaty. I don't know if it works with meaty. It definitely works with counter hit. What is that? Meaty? Meaty Light Tatsu? Cool anti-air. Jump instant strong. But like Balrog far jab into kick ultra. Yang far jab into ultra 1. What are some other ones? I think Gen had like a couple into his ultra 2, Mantis ultra 2. Yang jab links are easy as fuck, but it was still a 1 frame link into ultra 1. I think you could crouch Yang stand jab for a lot of characters. Maybe not a lot, but some. A lot of characters didn't use their stand jabs and confirms. That's like a huge difference between SF4 and SF5 that people often forget. Is that a lot of standing jabs, a lot of standing buttons were kind of shrug in 4. Most characters fought with their crouching buttons. If a character had a good standing button, it was usually just like a poke. It would be like something like Sakura Stamanos. Or like Sagat Stamanos, shit like that. Yeah. Light normals were super central because of how ridiculous they were for combos. And they did a really bad job differentiating the light normals for most characters in SF4. In SF5 they did a really good job. For almost every character in SF5, every light normal is good for something. It's actually kind of hard for me to think about a character who like has a light normal that doesn't do anything in SF5. I'm sure there are a bunch. Low short is useful for everyone because it's the only low that you can confirm out of for like half the cast. For a few characters, it's their fastest normal, like fucking Abigail, Jury. Most characters have like a 3-frame normal with kind of mediocre combo routes, and then a 4-frame normal with better combo routes. So there's 2 like useful light normals that are both not crouch short. I think standing buttons are kind of good. He had a different design philosophy, I appreciate. Makoto also. But one of the big reasons a lot of standing buttons were shrug is because a lot of standing buttons just whiffed on crouchers. It was just a thing they didn't give a shit about. It's actually pretty rare to have buttons that whiff on crouchers in SF4 and SF5. And usually when the buttons whiff on crouch, it's a deliberate thing to make them whiff punishable. It'll be like a heavy normal with a high angle hitbox. Like staring at us from Colleen. It'll be like a button that's pretty good, but like if it was unduckable, it would be insane. Loud. But in SF4, there were no rules when it came to duckable attacks. They just didn't give a shit. The only thing they gave a shit about was if a character had a special move that needed to hit standing opponents, that character would usually have a good 4 stand. SF4 was a well-designed game, but there were a lot of things that were just like, what were they thinking? And SF5, even though it moved in a direction a lot of people didn't like, it was pretty good about identifying those things. Where it's just like, why is this even like this? There was a very concentrated effort in SF5 to make every character's, like, every attack useful for something, which I appreciate. I've talked about that before, but it's actually kind of hard to think of a move that does nothing. We like to meme about Zangief's parry grab thing, but even that is, like, better than some SF4 normals that just do nothing.
Are you ready? Go.
I can think of something useless in SF4. I mean SF5. It's Urian's medium tackle. It's a very bad move, generally speaking. In juggles, he can use heavy tackle in all the places where he can use medium, to my knowledge. And in a grounded connect, it's like -3 on hit or something. -4 on hit. And unsafe on block. It does a little bit more damage than light tackle, but you'd much rather end in light tackle because light tackle's like 0 on block. I mean 0 on hit. Being minus on hit is shitty. And in combos where you can land heavy tackle, you'd rather use heavy tackle because it knocks down. There's like no reason to use medium tackle that I can think of. But isn't that kind of notable that you can kind of do that, where it's like a specific version of a special move is bad? And that's like, you know, one of very few instances of that in the game.
You win. Now, battle. Are you ready? Go.
Oh yes, they should remove medium tackle from the game, make the current light tackle into medium tackle, and then add a new tackle that combos from lights. SF5 Jury Card Tri Punch is not a great normal, but at least it's her ideal crush counter. It's got that going for it. Medium command grabs. That was true. Now there's quite a lot of good medium command grabs ever since they did the... I shouldn't say a lot, but Laura and Alex for sure have amazing medium command grabs.
Fighters ready. Engage.
That was a really refreshing change for both of them. Went for it. Looked like he might have got the Kara. No cancel? Holy shit. That close, strong walk and throw. It was kind of a read against anything.
Now.
And he might have been churning up a DP in case the Stand Strong was parried. But it might have been specifically to read like red parry. Nice. At endgame versus Ken, a lot of people will do like block into red parry. No cancel. He didn't believe. Alex is theoretically way better ever since the last patch. And I think he's been doing alright online ever since the last patch. I think his win rate has gone up if you look at the online statistics. He's actually quite good in most of the tiers. But I've been waiting to see him in tournaments, and I've only seen Mr. Problem X. Not that many Alex players. I think fundamentally he's inconsistent, and I think he was also hurt by B-Shift. He benefits from B-Shift, but he's hurt a lot by it too. His one weapon was that you had to hold Lariat. Now you don't have to hold Lariat. That's supposed to be stay medium kick, walk in, close stay medium kick. It's hard to do. And then you can get a super jump cancel and get a combo. But he got close into far. Alex has confirms. Laura technically has confirms, but they're very wacky. It's a very obvious thing when you play Laura is that she's got almost no pair of normals that combo. And the only ones that exist, you can only go into light elbow. Stuff like low short, low jab, or stand forward, stand jab. They did not want her to be able to confirm medium elbow. But they also wanted medium elbow to be fast enough to combo from everything. Which created a very unusual situation.
Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
Meanwhile, Alex is just like, I think I will combo into my chop. I think I will confirm my chop. That being said, Alex's chop is only barely better than Laura's light elbow. In some ways, it's worse. If you can get medium chop, it's just a better Laura light elbow, but it doesn't work in as many scenarios. And if you get light chop as Alex, you're kind of back in the schmicks. You're kind of back in neutral. You don't get a great mix-up off of it. Not back in the schmicks, just back in neutral. Whereas Laura, after every light elbow, is just mix-up time. Nice hit here. Walk under it, take a command grab. Aggressive low parries by the Yang just there, but he didn't actually catch the low. Trying to time a low parry perfectly with your opponent's low poke is very luck-based. It's just like, I hope they hit their button right now. There's just you're so vulnerable just tapping forward or tapping down in front of someone. Nice, caught the shimmy. Back that shimmy. Oh, I had that Ken do that to me today, and he dropped it the same way. He wanted to hit the landing recovery, and he didn't. He went for the same exact combo. Anti-air, low forward DP. He did light DP on me. This Ken just did medium. Very nice. You rarely see that. Only when the Yang needs as much damage as possible. It wasn't, I don't even think it was enough to chip. Maybe it was. Hi.
Now battle. Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
That's a nice parry either way. Ugh. Anti-air low, or anti-air close forward. Super jump cancel, and then instant air parry if you get parried. It's very pretty. You can parry really early in a jump. I've been seeing so many people do that, and every time I'm just like, wow. Surprised you can do that in time. Ah, very nice. It's easy for that to slip in. I always feel like a dummy when I eat it, especially because Oro gets hit late, so it's easier to block for him than most characters. Nice. That was a dead OS. And also just proximity OS since it was so far out.
Final round. Engage.
Double DP? Yeah. He only got 2 hits there, I think, of the EX Tatu. So double DP was on the table, and Yang was higher up than normal, which meant that it was going to be, it didn't require the car there, I don't think. Huge damage from that. The EX Tatu double DP just does a fucking chunk. Hope you guys like the Yang versus Ken matchup where the Ken always wins. Nice parry, nice punish. That was dead OS too. He recognized that scenario so quickly. That was insane. Like, it's common for people to kind of be in neutral and throw out low forward in dead OS, but it's really weird in the middle of his, like, meaty pressure to fucking just dead OS out a super. You know what I mean? He just knew. In the middle of, like, his little pressure, he was just like, oh, by the way, I have the right amount of meter for dead OS.
Prepare to strike. Now.
Oh, he might have been able to hit confirm that from the range. Ew. Ugh. Those could have been light DPs rather than close strongs. It's difficult though to identify when light DP is better, because close strong can lead to a whole combo. Nice. Close strong. Shipu is one of my favorite animations in the game. When I was like brand new to this game, I was like, I want to play Ken, and then I looked at all the supers, and I was like, I want to be that Ken who plays Shipu because Shipu is so cool, even if it's a bad super. Little did I know. That hit Yang on the ground. Ken had a whole combo. That was like a perfect scenario, but he didn't commit. It was a weird scenario. He like couldn't reliably commit there, so he just played it safe. But he perfectly recovered. He perfectly got a jump in on Yang's landing frames. Ah.
Fighters ready. Engage.
I was a Ken main for like a month. And then I played against my friend who was playing Chun-Li, and we were both playing horrible because we didn't know what we were doing. And I picked Oro like as a gag. I was like, let me try some weird shit with this guy. And then I just randomly activated SA1 thinking it was going to be a super, and it just activated. And then I went up to him and I did the grab, and we both fucking flipped out. We were like, oh my god, that animation was so cool. We were like, what's going on? And then I would like pick like Ken for a little bit, and then whenever I want to fool around, I would go to Oro and just do random shit. And then I hopped on, I found 2DF and started playing on that. I played Ken for like a couple days, and then started playing Alex for like another couple days. And then I think I played Hugo, and I became a Hugo main for about 2 months. And then I started loving Oro, and I liked him a lot. And then I just became an Oro main and stayed there.
Now. Prepare to strike. Now.
If I were to rate my skill with the various characters, now it's obviously way higher just because I'm much better at the game and parries and stuff like that. But if my Oro in the first year got to like a 5, my Ken got to like a 0.2, my Hugo got to like a 0.5, and my Alex got to like a 0.2.
Prepare to strike. Now.
I'm well adapted to play Oro, and Oro's well adapted for me. I would be much worse playing almost any other character. That looked like a car throw. Oh, he went for the triple or short confirm. He was out of range. It's cool seeing these players push these characters to their limits. Ken's car throw used to be something that people didn't really fuck around with just because it's such a small like bonus. Ken's throw range is already bigger than Yang's, and the extra car throw means you can be that much less precise with it and still like find the ranges where you can throw him and he can't throw you. And those ranges are obviously extremely deadly. That's a hard parry.
Final round. Engage.
Yeah, the parry window on that is very tiny, even if you see it coming. Nice. I'm kind of tired. I think this will be my last video. We're not that far into it though. You guys have got me for 25 more minutes. Relish it. Most characters I don't find anywhere near as fun as Oro and Third Strike. I probably wouldn't even play the game if Oro wasn't in it. Probably play it for like 5 minutes and then move on to Alpha 3. I prefer to think of Akuma as having only X moves, because mana special moves are pretty nice.
Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
Akuma's regular Airtatsu is like almost as good as Ken's EX Airtatsu. Akuma gets invincibility on a meterless DP. Not that I recommend it. And you got the red fireball if you need multi-hit fireballs, which, you know, it's third strike, so you don't. Oh, that was a really aggressive and good play by the Yang to get him the chip health and then do jump dive kick to catch a parry. But Ken jumped too. Ken was like obviously going to parry there, so Yang's option was super strong, but then just Ken didn't parry even though he's obviously going to. You would think the mix-up would just be parry low versus parry high, but Ken was just like, nah, he's not even going for a meaty. What an aggressive read. It works against the throw too, I guess, the jump, but it's not like a jump punishes a throw. Yang was still like, he still had a mix-up if he went for throw. Is this just going to be a whole replay of just Yang and Ken? I'm pretty far back in the archives. This is like a replay from a year ago. Oh, he went for optimal. A lot of the more recent stuff is
Fight is ready. Engage.
oh. I got auras in the thumbnails. And I just want to click on them, but I can't because I gotta watch them all. I heard the aura play is pretty good too. I'm a sucker for good aura play. You could show me a woman who's like, I love you for who you are. Or you could show me a room full of VHS types of top Japanese aura play. And I'd be like, baby, you're alright, but I gotta see the tech.
Now. Prepare to strike. Now.
Unconditional love and aura tech. See, he's not confirming it.
Are you ready? Go.
Interesting wake up. It fell out. Sad. Yang can't do anything there. Stopping short, I think he's minus. I don't actually know. And you can't cancel the super early, I'm pretty sure. So it's really awkward when he has like that last hit fall out. Fortunately, most people won't punish it.
Final round. Now.
It usually doesn't happen. Nice. That probably works even if Yang does third Rekka. It's probably not a true block string. And Ken's super is invincible. It's not very invincible, it's got enough. I didn't know that. Third Rekka is a blue parry. Always?
You win.
You know, it's like heavy second Rekka, light third Rekka.
Now for battle.
Shit. I could have been OSing fucking OS parry every time Yang does two Rekkas. Maybe. I don't know. You might just lose the ability to punish the second one if you OS parry the third one. Gah. Very nice. Oh, it was deep. I don't know if it was deep enough. Maybe he went for light DP early and just missed it. Ugh, he ain't committed. I hate that. That's one of my least favorite things about Third Strike. Is when you get a parry and they cancel. And then you get hit. It's nice to have some kind of counterplay for parries, but that just feels grimy every time. It's like, I got the read. If I made this game, I'd probably make it so you couldn't cancel parried attacks. But I don't know if that would be better or worse. It would just be what I would make. Maybe worse. For most characters, it doesn't matter too much because they don't really cancel parried attacks. But Ken has super and DP. Kuma can cancel a parried attack into Raging Demon, which is hilarious. I think he can't do special into Raging Demon in this game, though. In SF4 he can, but only if the special super cancels. Whereas all normals cancel on every frame into Raging Demon. But in this game I think it's only normal cancels into Demon. So you can't do like 3 hits of DP, and then if they parry you fucking Raging Demon or some bullshit like that. He does have a couple checkmate scenarios that are pretty hilarious though. Like if you get someone at super low HP, like chip health, and then you have like a knockdown where you have meaty red fireball, you can do meaty red fireball demon. And then if the demon hits while they're parrying the red fireball. And if you try and jump out, you eat like the last hit of the red fireball and die. If you try to block, you block the red fireball and die. And if you just parry, you get demoned. There's no way out. The setups for that are very rare though. He blocked the whole thing high, and he's still got to punish. That's probably the play. If he crouch blocks, Ken just zooms over his head and he gets a poke punish. But because he blocked the whole thing, he got a full Rekka punish. That's pretty smart, actually. Or I probably can't do that. Ken doesn't recover point blank. Or is very bad at that scenario. Most characters in Third Strike are. Most characters are really garbage at getting light normal punish from far away, and then converting. Yang is one of the best in the game at it, with stand short EX Rekka. Yun as well with like stand short dash punch. There's like a punish tailor-made for Yang almost. Nice, EX kills. Ooh, that was a failed super. Super kills too. Super was the better play, he just fucked it up. Given a second chance. How the fuck did he get... Was that an accident? Was he trying for super? Wake up command grab was super weird there. It's Elder God read or an accident. That's the kind of parry that's very strong against Yang. Just takes his safe thing that Yangs just do no matter what, and gets massive damage on it. The thing about Yang that really differentiated him from characters like 12 and Elena is that his mix-up is not super solid and it is blown up by parries, but he gets decent damage out of it if you go for a parry and fail. Because it doesn't require a confirm. Or rather, it confirms itself. Like, Yang can just do low forward light Rekka. And if he sees the low forward hit, if the opponent went for a parry and missed it, either badly timed low parry or just a high parry, Yang just gets all 3 hits of Rekka and he gets a knockdown and decent damage. So, you know, the fact that he's vulnerable to parry doesn't really matter that much because the opponent's risking a lot to even attempt to parry. Yo, it's the game we play. Yang's mix-up is not crazy. The command grab is the only really way it, like, It's not that Yang's mix-up isn't crazy, because it is kind of crazy. It's more like Yang doesn't need to use the craziness, the full craziness of his mix-up. It's more like Yang would rather play safe because it's reliable. Medium and heavy Rekka do more damage. You can mix and match Rekkas, so just like, you know, do higher versions. Nice. If you see that you're hitting.
Fighters ready. Engage.
So for example, if you get a dizzy, you would do jump hard kick or something, and then close strong, and then 3 heavy Rekkas. Because that's the most damage you can get out of Rekka. Light Rekka is safer, so if you're just poking with Light Rekka, you do like low forward Light Rekka or close strong Light Rekka. And then if you're doing like that and it works, then you do like Light Rekka, Heavy Rekka, Heavy Rekka. If you see that you're hitting, just convert it to the stronger ones. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that, even like Yang players. If you don't have training mode, it's kind of hard to spot. But they actually do appreciably different damage. That's a failed uppercut, probably. Low strong is probably supposed to be medium DP.
Final round. Go.
I don't know if you ever really used third Light Rekka ever. Maybe if you want to just chip someone out, or just want to surprise them with a third Rekka even after they block the first two. It's something that Yang players occasionally do, just to kind of keep the mix-up rolling. The mix-up gets progressively worse for Yang the more Rekkas you do, but you know, sometimes the name of the game is to do a third Rekka even though they block two.
Prepare to strike. Now.
But it's definitely a weak spot in the Rekkas to do the third Light Rekka. You would probably never use that in 90% of scenarios. More like 99%. I think any version of any Rekka combos to every other version of Rekka. So you don't have to like do light, medium, heavy or anything like that.
Engage.
There's a lot of nuance to Yang that I'm not really sure about because I'm not a Yang player though. That was probably a failed car throw. I don't know what that was. After a parry, it can be really precise to get car throw. Because if you do the car throw early, it buffers the button and not the Kara. Even if you input it correctly. That's the premise of SGGK actually. It's that but on purpose.
Final round. Go.
Yeah, it's a really good Ken. SA3 Yang on Acho, probably. It's mostly SA2. SA3 Yang is really not bad. The problem is just that you don't get any EX Rekkas to play with. The super itself is better than SA2. It's harder to use though.
You win. Now. Are you ready? Go.
SA3 versus Hugo is pretty common. It's one of the matchups where you see it a lot. I think I rated Yang SA2 really low on that, but realistically speaking it is higher than SA3. I didn't appropriately rate them based on the EX they provide. I was kind of lazy about that. Yang is like the only character in the game though who picks a super purely for the EX. Pretty much everyone who picks supers picks their best super. There's very few instances of someone picking an optimal super that has more EX. The only scenarios are like maybe Ryu SA1 No, 12's SA1 is like his best super anyway. Even without the fact that it has the most EX. Same with Alex. I can't think of a single character besides Yang who picks a bad super to have more EX. There are a lot of characters who just pick supers and then just do EX. No, Alex's other two supers are garbage. He does pick the super with the most EX, but like he would pick it anyway, even if it had the least, just because it's an actual good super. Well, it's not good, but it's better than the other two. It's a hell of a lot better than the other two. The single main reason why SA2 is way better than the other ones. Ooh, optimal. Pretty optimal. The main reason Alex SA2 is maybe Hugo. Maybe Hugo for EX in some matchups. Yeah. If you're a believer in the SA1 Hugo, which a lot of people are, you might still pick SA3 in some matchups just to have EX. That's real. What was I gonna say though? Alex's reversal SA3 versus Tension Ryu? That probably does work, huh? I never thought about that. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's a real reversal. You gotta fucking... yeah. Oh, this is a funny thing to say. To like pull on Ryu. It's like it's literally call an ambulance, but not for me. Ooh, very nice. I thought the screen seems to lag whenever he lands the last hit of that. Yeah, Oro EXSA1 does the same thing. Except Alex should work from a lot farther out. I wouldn't call it a hard counter for Denshin, because he can still block string into Denshin, and that's still strong. Oh, what a round. Ken players! I feel kind of gross having just watched that. That was a huge fucking Ken moment. Yang Taunt raises the power of his next combo. He doesn't get a lot of guaranteed setups, but you always see it whenever Yang gets a dizzy. I think he also gets it after any SA2, but Yang players usually not really trying to land SA2. SA2 is only barely stronger than EX Rekka, which is only barely stronger than Rekka. Like, Rekka combos are like 40-some from a jump in, and then like optimal SA2 combos are like almost 60, like 50, 58, 59 from a jump in. So his like, he gets like 133% from going for a super combo versus just a meterless B&B. It's like barely stronger. A lot of characters get like double damage or more. Yeah, the problem is it leaves them standing. That's annoying. Ibuki's taunt is really bad. Still better than Remy's. Remy's taunt is unironically the worst in the game by a comfortable margin. It's like not even close. Yeah, Necro licking you. I don't even remember if the hits combo to each other with Necro's Lick. I think they do. Ken's little fucking Kakatekina taunt, the 2 hits don't combo, which is pretty funny. Does Tao Kaka's taunt combo? It does, right? She throws 2 little punches at you. I think there's some nonsense she has with that, but I don't remember what. I know Brian has an actual useful taunt. Brian Fury in Tekken. I didn't know Yang had a taunt that hit for a while because it doesn't hit, I think, Oro at all. Or like only as an A tier. Street Fighter has... I like the used taunts of this game with the little secret effects. But, in Street Fighter, Dan in SF5 is the best I've ever seen for useful taunts. They did a really good job with that. He had a useful taunt in SF4, but it really wasn't actually useful at all. Actually, it was very shitty. They were like, oh wow, you can do fucking cancel to super taunt, then cancel to Ultra One, but honestly, like, it's a lot of meter to spend. And he has very few setups into it.
Prepare to strike. Now.
You could land Ultra 2 like that as well, which was more common since most Dan players ran Ultra 2. But, parry attempts turn into a dash, maybe? You could just FADC for Ultra 2. So you could either spend 4 bars to do a thing or spend 2 bars to do a thing. You might have been able to do Crouch Fierce. Super Taunt Ultra 2. Not SA2, Ultra 2. But, and that's a scenario where you might not have had DPF ADC available. But that's not like a really important moment. And it's a lot of extra meter to spend. Super Taunt was pretty garbage. He has Super Taunt SF5 as well. I haven't thought about that since he launched. It's funny. There it was. Much easier on an airborne opponent. Jump Taunt was decent. Crouch Taunt was also decent. And by decent I mean they had a purpose to exist. Dan was probably best in Ultra. But he was never good. -5 was a smaller deal than I think most people think. Maybe it would have been a bigger deal if the game was played longer. There was still a huge mix-up to actually punish a DP, because the player could do like DPF ADC release, or DPF ADC backdash, or EX DPF ADC, and you had to do different things for all of those. And you couldn't really easily react to which one it would be. When -5 DPs were first revealed, there was a huge... Dan wasn't listed on the characters who had -5 DPs, and everyone was like, oh my god, Dan gets to keep the DP. But then that would have been a really cool thing to give Dan, but they didn't do it. Dan was one of the characters with a nerfed one. I don't remember Viper Heavy Knuckle was on there. I don't remember. That's an invincible reversal, but I don't remember if it's -5. Alright, I'm going to bed. It was fun. Thanks everyone for chilling with me.